Hi, my name is Andy Allocco, and I have been here for 39 years. But we left, but we're always a part of this family. We always felt connected. As I think back on my relationship with Bill, I'm reminded of a verse in Timothy which says, "A man of God strives to be humble, is enthusiastic, is patient, is kind, and is always sincere." And I think that that fits Bill Dwyer. He really is a man of God. Now, like Ken said, he does have his flaws. We coached our daughter's softball team. Now, we all know Bill's not very competitive. Well, this one evening, in the middle of the game, the coach of the other team brought up a new pitcher, and she was incredible. She was really fast, but she had absolutely no control. And every batter of ours that got up, she hit. I mean, I'm serious. Every single one. Some of them stopped getting in the batter's box. They were so afraid. Bill went out to the referee, and this referee was probably 15 years old. And she had no idea what to do. She was totally, just like a deer in the headlights. She told us the game had to go on. So then it continued. Bill went out and really got in her face. And she asked the other coach to take her out. And he said, "No, I'm not taking her out. She's going to continue to pitch." And the umpire said, "I can't do anything." Well, my daughter got up, and she got hit so bad she fell down and was crying. And then I lost it. And I went up and, was really in her face. She kicked me out of the game. I had to go to the bleachers and watch the game. As it continued, Bill went up, and he got thrown out of the game. So there's our whole team with no coach, standing up in the batter's box, getting plummeted. And I think we threw the game. Didn't you stop it and say, "We yield, you win"? But that's one of the funny stories that I wanted to share with you. Now, Ken mentioned that Bill was there in the beginning of the vineyard. And the vineyard is now all over the world. It's amazing, out of that humble Jesus people. And that's what we were called in those years. We were Jesus people. He started and was part of something that is phenomenal. And he has continued to carry that on. One of the few, I think, in that group that is still in the saddle doing what he does. You may or may not know, but he was trained to be a soldier. Have you heard any stories about Vietnam? Boy, you haven't changed in 40 years. Well, the things that he learned was to be a leader and to be disciplined and to obey orders and to execute orders and get results. He has done that in this church year after year. You've heard people speak about his leadership. The Lord used his training in a mighty way, and he has produced an incredible legacy here. After the the vineyard grew in the west side, they wanted to come to the valley because many people were coming to the valley to the west side. And Bill was asked to take that on. We first met in a small Methodist church called St. Paul's. And we outgrew that. The next place we went to was Portola Middle School. And we were there for years. And it got a little testy because at the time, people were upset that public places were being used by churches. And so we were nervous that, we would be in a bad position. So we started looking for a place to buy. And we went all over the valley. And there was nothing that we could afford. One of our people found a bowling alley in Reseda. And he thought it was a great place that we could take over. And we came here and looked at it and said, you have got to be kidding. You have seen the pictures. It was amazing. It had been vacant for years. But we decided to go for it. We had prayed really hard. And so Bill went to meet with the owner, and he gave us a price. And Bill came back, and we looked at our money and said, Bill, there is no way. And he said, okay, I'll go back. So the guy gave him a discount. Bill came back. We crunched the numbers again, and we said to him, Bill, we can't do this. I think what we ought to do is figure out what we can pay, and you go tell them, this is what we're willing to pay. So being a good soldier, he went back to the owner and said, this is all we can pay. We would love to have the building, and the guy gave it to us. The Lord was with us. It took over a year to rehab this place. And Bill, as usual, had a strategy and a plan and a vision, and he made this place what it is today. It was his idea, his enthusiasm, his discipline. There's probably not a place in this building that he hasn't painted, put a hammer to, or fixed. He is so handy, and he is constantly making this place what it is. We're getting into the twilight of our years, Bill and I have one hope and desire. And that is, I would like to go to heaven first. I want to be there when Jesus welcomes Bill. He's going to say, you have fought the good fight. You have finished the race, and you have kept the faith. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Bill is my pastor. No matter where I'm at, he's still my pastor. He is my mentor, and he represents to me everything that I would like to be as a Christian. But he's also my best friend. And I'm so glad I have you in my life. Thank you.